Summit, the African Union decided that Nkrumah's birthday is going to be observed as such on the whole of the continent. And I believe that there is something that we have to be proud of. And it is an acknowledgement of the contribution that Kwame Nkrumah made to African unity and also to the liberation of the continent.
There are people, of course, who say he was a visionary man. And I remember that in the year 2000, he was actually voted to be the greatest African, really, leader or something of that sort. He's also the man, of course, who came up with this idea back in 1957 that the independence of Ghana would be meaningless unless it was linked to the total liberation of the African continent, which has actually been achieved. What about Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois?
I met him. I was a student at the time. He was a great thinker, an academic, and a Pan-Africanist. And I really admired him. He gave Nkrumah a lot of support. And for us as students, he was a role model. He was the one who opened our eyes, really, to the struggle, by Africa to emancipate herself. So I think that he added some fillip. Mm-hmm. He gave us some support and encouragement. And today, many of the Pan-Africanists that I know must have gained inspiration from W.E.B. Du Bois.
Mr. President, we have to go for a break, and when we come back, we shall continue our discussion, and we will have some questions that have actually been sent to us via email, SMS, and also some people who talked to some of my colleagues in the streets of Accra. We'll be right back, so please don't go away.
Welcome back to In Focus, right here on The Voice of America.
Hello, I'm Dimyake Mwakalielia.
And I'm Vincent McCory. In Focus is going to offer the audience what many other television outlets are not able to offer. We're going to tell you the story behind the story.
What happened, how it happened, why it happened.
Oh, Dimyake is great.
East or West, home is best. My co-host, Vincent McCory, encyclopedia, I call him.
Being able to look around what's happening around the world and help people to get a better understanding.
Did you like today's show? Write and tell us what you think, or give us some suggestions. And tell us on what station you're tuned into. Here's our address. Straight Talk Africa, Voice of America, 330 Independence Avenue, Southwest, Washington, D.C., 20237, USA. Or send us an email at africatv@voanews.com. Log on to our website, www.voanews.com/TV2Africa.
We would have expected to meet Obama in Kenya because being his motherland, people wanted him to come here because he's been here sometimes back, but he wanted him to come as a president because that would have been of great help to market Kenya as a country.
I think Obama is in fear that he can be infected with the corrupt evils. You see, it's like a disease. Corruption is bad. So basically, I think he can't come to Kenya.
Personally, I think since Obama is a president, he's an American president, he's free to choose where to visit and where not. He doesn't. He's not a Kenyan, let's say. So he can choose anywhere to go, just like our president goes to any country feels like. So when he feels like coming to Kenya, he will come, just like any other country would like to visit. So personally, I'm not angry about it.
I think Obama as president, he has a reason of skipping Kenya, ignoring Kenya. One, we have not done very well as a country in terms of fighting corruption and all this. Like we have Agenda 4, which should have been, we should have started working on it seriously We have not done that. And if Obama himself feels that that is the reason of skipping Kenya, he has all the rights.
I think our political elite are not trustworthy, so he's showing his displeasure with them. And secondly, I think the interest of America come first before the personal interest. So I believe maybe Ghana was a priority to them than Kenya. But even I believe if I was Obama, I wouldn't come to Kenya either.
That is reaction from Kenya on the upcoming visit of U.S. President Barack Obama to the Republic of Ghana. And hello, I am Shaka Ssali. Welcome back to Straight Talk Africa, which is coming to you live from the Ghanaian capital of Accra here at Osu Castle. And joining me once again is Ghanaian President John Atta Mills. Once again, I have to say that, Mr. President, I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have the opportunity to host you on this special edition of Straight Talk Africa.
Well, the honor is equally mine, Shaka.
You're most welcome, sir. Now, before we go to the questions that I promised, let me go a little bit backwards. Let me take you again to Niger. I gather that the ECOWAS, for example, may in fact be thinking about imposing sanctions on Niger if the president decides to go ahead with that illegal referendum. Is that something that you would feel comfortable with? Would you endorse it?
Well, let me say that I do not want to jump the gun. Normally, I take my decisions after hearing the arguments. And I know that before ECOWAS decides on sanctions, there will be a meeting at which all the issues will be discussed. There may be some facts that I may not be seized of right now. So my decision will depend on the arguments which are put on the table at the time.
Let's talk a little bit about the economy. There are a lot of people who say that the economy is stupid, meaning that it's not doing very well, really. There are a lot of people that I met downtown Accra today and yesterday. They were in fact complaining about petrol or fuel, that there is a shortage of it. What is your government trying to do about that?
Well, Shaka, let me be very honest about this situation. And we have not minced words about this. We came to meet certain challenges in the area of the economy. The economy was not as robust as we had been made to believe. But as I've always said, we have great potential. And I believe that I have the right team to be able to turn things around. The covers were not as full as we had been made to believe. And therefore, there were certain obligations which we found difficult to fulfill. Now, if you look at the oil area, that is the petrol, we came to meet debts, huge debts. And therefore, even opening letters of credit in order to bring in crude has been very difficult. But we are not saying that because of this we are not trying. We can see light at the end of the tunnel. I very much sympathize with my compatriots. I mean, they have every right to expect that the government will be able to provide for their basic needs. I wish that we could do that even in the first week. But I think it is better for us to prepare adequately before we tackle this. And I want to assure Ghanaians that we've been put in place, the various systems and structures. And I think that very soon they'll be able to see, what is really happening. I do sympathize with them. But, if one had known, if one had been told the truth, and when I addressed the nation in my State of the Nation address in February this year, I made reference to the fact that we had come to meet an economy where for the past 2 or 3 years, we had recorded budget deficits, negative domestic primary balance, which is an indication that the government was spending more than it was collecting, and therefore leaving a gap, in the economy. But I'm saying that when we told the people of Ghana that we could rule the country, we were saying that we did not expect that everything was going to be rosy. We have the people. We're only asking for patience. We are only asking that they retain confidence in us. We will turn things around.
Your economy for a very long time, at least statistically, seemed to be doing very well. But yet a lot of people will tell you that those statistics were never reflected in their stomachs. They were never reflected in their community, in their neighborhood. You have recently, I think, gotten a fat loan from the World Bank. Is it the International Monetary Fund?
It's the World Bank.
World Bank. You also received a couple of years ago money from the U.S. Millennium Challenge account, which is more than $500 million to help your country in terms of setting up infrastructure and what have you. Can you give us any report card about what that money has done so far?
But when you talk about the Millennium Challenge account, you are referring to something which happened before we came into
Not on your watch, of course.
Yes, but recently the World Bank, has given us a loan, and it's in fact $535 million. And for a country this size, if you consider the felt needs of the people, etc., well, I would not say that yes, this is going to solve all our problems, but it's a very good beginning because it will send out positive signals that we are back on track. And of course, we expect also the IMF to come through. We expect the G20 promises also to be made good. So we think that we are in the process of getting our act together so that we'll be able to meet the needs and aspirations of our people. Our economy has great potential, but we have to manage it well. We should not take things for granted. And I believe that candor is something that we should not run away from. Very often, when we give other statistics, we talk about the economy. There are some who would want us to sweep things under the carpet. We should not do that to the people of this country. They know more than we do. It is true. Churning out cold statistics, it's not going to comfort anybody. It's just figures on paper. What people want to know is whether or want to see is a translation of these statistics into more money, ability to pay their school fees, pay for electricity, get water, put food on the table. So every politician must know that there must be a gap between statistics and the reality on the ground. We are aware of it.
If I got you correctly, Mr. President, do I hear that what you are saying in effect is that those statistics may, at the end of the day, be reflecting what some might characterize as creative accounting?
Well, not at all, not at all. I'm saying that the statistics give you an indication of the state of the economy, but it's only an indication. If you want to know the effect of the economy, you go around people and see what are your experiences. So the statistics are okay, they are yardstick, they mirror the performance of the economy, but they do not mirror the effect of the economy on the people. I'm not saying that the statistics or the figures are cooked. No, I'm not saying that. But if you're only going to rely on figures, then sometimes you are going to find your fingers bent.
I hear you. There is a Mr. Fifi Kwete. I gather that he's the Deputy Minister for Finance. Is that correct?
Yes.
In a recent local radio interview, he was asked about the unemployment rate of Ghana, and he did not seem to know. He didn't seem really to be on top of what he's supposed to be. Are you concerned about that information deficit?
Shaka, let me tell you, things are changing all the time. When somebody talks about the employment rate in a country, is he talking about something which happened at the time when they did the census, which may have been 6 months or 1 month ago, or 1 year ago? Honestly, I don't think that there is anybody in this country or anywhere who can say for sure what the employment rate is. What I can tell you is that I see a lot of people who are unemployed. I get calls from people who are unemployed. What I can say with confidence, that the employment situation is not what we would want it to be. There are too many people who are roaming around without jobs, and we should create the jobs. When it comes to statistics, there are all kinds of problems. We've heard governments say in the past, we created 30,000 jobs, 60,000 jobs. I don't know how the calculation was then. I don't want a situation where I'll be churning out figures. I've created 100,000 jobs, 200,000 jobs. They don't mean anything to the person who is jobless. So let's make sure that the people walking around have jobs. When the employment rate is high, you don't need statistics. Just go around. You will see for yourself how many people, are lazying around, how many people are playing drafts when they don't have any job to do, how many people are roaming the streets. That, I think, is a better yardstick.